Good morning, and I hope you got your coffee because we have some trades, gentlemen. We got some trades. It's free agency
Yeah.
frenzy day 5. Uh, but we had trades yesterday, and let's start with the one that just happened this morning. Let's get Joe in here first. Good morning. Oh, there we go, Joe. So this
Good
There he is.
morning, the Minnesota Vikings made a trade this morning was it Arizona? No, the Texans to get
Morning, Eric.
into a second pick in the first round. So they now have 2 first rounders going into this draft with their latest acquisition. It was basically draft picks trading. They moved up in the first and got another one and gave up like 3 of their own and one next year. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and then of course Eric brings up the next one in the comments. Keenan Allen is now a Bear. We'll get to that one in a minute. But first, let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Skull, right? As Aaron Jones would do. Oh wait, he did do
Stop.
that yesterday.
Stop. I don't want to. It was bad enough to watch that video. I don't want to see you doing it. Come on, man.
So let's talk about Minnesota though, because now the Minnesota guys are chatting up a storm that this is all and this is gonna be good. So they believe, some of them do, not all of them. Some of them have brain cells. They believe that this is all part of a plan to put together a trade package to trade the Chargers for Justin Herbert because the Chargers are going to go after McCarthy and they want to base and Harbaugh, wants his college quarterback with him in the pros. Therefore, they're going to do a complete rebuild starting this year by jettisoning because Keenan's gone and they cut Williams yesterday. They're going to reset the offense, so to speak, and make this massive trade now to get Justin Herbert away from the Chargers. So, Joe, you're out there in California. Do you think that Justin Herbert's ever going to leave the Los Angeles Chargers to go to Minnesota Vikings in a trade package this year?
They're going to get both picks for Herbert, is what you're saying?
That's the idea.
Holy mother of God!
happen, but I can't see that happening. Like
I don't either.
Harbaugh's
But
not
holy mother of God!
Harbaugh's not an idiot. You don't trade a franchise quarterback for, it's the old Family Guy. Like, well, maybe it's a boat. Like
Ever since you made that comparison, all I can now think of is that freaking skit from Family Guy. It is now stuck in my head. Thanks, Joe.
yeah, let's trade the boat for the mystery bag because in the mystery bag there might even be a boat. It's like, to me, that's what that would be like. Like Herbert has proven himself. He's a legit top 5, maybe top 7 quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
And so, I mean, if you believe in JJ McCarthy like that, I guess. But to me, it makes sense for the Chargers if you're really wanting to reset the clock, right? To reset your quarterback clock. You pick up probably 2 or 3 first-round draft picks and the Chargers pick at 5, so they could theoretically get another quarterback this year.
Oh no, the Chargers would have to
but all
keep
that for JJ McCarthy.
Well, I mean, look, the Chargers would have to keep the number 5 pick, right, to make that work for them. So they would end up with 3 first-rounders. They'd end up with what, 5, 11, and I think was it 24, 23, whatever they got today. Yeah. So the Chargers would have 3 first-rounders. So you could say at 5 they could take Drake May, they could take McCarthy, they could take whatever quarterback they wanted, and then they could go out and get a receiver, a tight end. They could start replacing the weapons they just released. But look at this is the Vikings. I love my Vikings. Look at Skull guys. We love you. We're on Rocker CVO, Rockers page, Sir Rockers page today. So if you're watching from Sir Rockers page, as a Minnesota Vikings fan, let us know what you're thinking about this theory being thrown around by some Vikings fans about them now trying to make a package to get Herbert. I mean, I get it. Look, you get Herbert, right? You trade away a ton of capital. You're cool with that because now you've got a legit quarterback throw into your 2 legit wide receivers and your legit running back that Green Bay gifted you. So, you know, I mean, I get it. It makes sense for them. Their defense isn't bad. Now they get a legit quarterback. So, I mean, Rob, from a on the field perspective, right? This whole idea, if the Vikings could pull off a trade like that, would actually make them pretty legit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would totally. I mean, it don't sound like they gave up no players, so that means they would just have to find money to to pay JJ eventually. But I mean, that would make him calm down, so he would wait till next season. They could handle it that way because they still got a year on him. But yeah, this totally shakes it up with Aaron Jones in there. I mean, that's a better. Yeah, bro. I mean, it makes them legit, bro. They got a great tight end, Hawkinson. 2 good wideouts. I mean, you add. I mean, Herbert's probably thinking, "Holy shit," you know. So I agree, bro. It's a good situation for him if it works out. But you know, that is yet to remain to be seen.
We gotta hope and pray that that doesn't happen for the division with the offense that they potentially would have constructed. That would be every team in the North would have to be on their A game at that point. This division would be wide the fuck open.
Well, we
It
now
hasn't
know
been
for
like
a fact. We know for a fact it's going to happen because now Nick Green says it won't. If Nick says it won't, that usually means it's going to happen, right, Joe?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Nick though. I mean, his logic makes sense. I mean, the whole reason that Harbaugh picked that spot was because of the quarterback situation. I guarantee you, he thought that's good for the next 5 years. So there's no way he's trading away his fucking quarterback.
So let's do this because obviously
I don't think. Well, maybe. I mean, bro, if he likes one of the quarterbacks in college, I don't know, man.
Oh.
Let's do this. You know, obviously, you know, look at Vikings fans called up and medical marijuana dealer, and they've obviously partaken in too much. Okay, so let's try to help the Vikings fans out, who now have 2 number 1 picks in the draft, and now they could maybe get a good one early, right from where they're sitting. They have 2 picks. They can also maybe position themselves to move up, right?
Bro, they could get a quarterback. If they get a quarterback in defensive end that they lost to Neil Hunter, they could just like get all that right back.
Well, they got they got the defensive end back. They already signed the other cat to basically be the replacement early. What's his name? What they got? Was it from Carolina? They got the guy. But
no, I think he would have been from Houston.
But let's do this. Let's ask this question. They now own 2 picks in the first round, right? What if they're not going to draft the future quarterback because the future is now, right? What would be a trade Minnesota could put together for a current starting quarterback that's not hot garbage, that's let's say middle of the road or better, to a team that looks like, hey, I've got a good quarterback, but dude, the rest of my team ain't going to be there, right? So who's the guy that they could maybe snag in a trade where now that new team is further back than what, say, the Vikings are? You know what I'm saying? Like the let me help you help me situation, right? So let's think about it. Who could the Vikings use these picks for if they're not going to draft it to trade for a quarterback that makes them a contender now? Because the rest of the team says contender now. Their quarterback position says Sam Darnold.
Kyler Murray.
Do you think, okay, hey, Arizona, we're going to trade you we're going to send you back the draft pick you just sent us and ours for Kyler Murray?
I mean, parity in the NFL, bro.
There we go. Just because
I was going to say Trevor Lawrence, he's a free agent next year.
Luca, yes. The Chargers do have the cap space because the cap loss on Herbert, the freed up space on that alone would.
What about for Dak Prescott? He's up. His contract's up next year. Deshaun Watson, look at that.
Look at what I figured Nick would go with this. There's a reason why Nick said that because that those guys like to go get massages together. So you know,
No,
Nick's a pretty good
Nick
with his hands.
Nick likes to give them. Let's get it right. Deshaun's the asshole that wants to take it to fucking another fucking level, but Nick's out there the one giving them. Don't fucking discredit Nick to fucking Deshaun.
He takes care of Jordan Love all
There we
off
go.
season.
That's exactly what it is.
would Jerry Jones make that deal for Dak Prescott though? Because aren't the Cowboys in a
For 2
win
picks
now
because they want to get. I mean, they don't. There's talk. Dak wants $60 million, bro.
His cap hit this year is $60 million.
Yeah, I mean, I would like get rid of him, bro. I mean, he's a great regular season quarterback. He could probably lead them. You know, honestly, bro. I mean, who'd you take?
For who though? For who? Because even if the Cowboys get 2 first-round picks, it's not enough. I mean, well, I guess they could theoretically try to trade up from 20 whatever to get their new
at that
quarterback.
point they own what 11 because the Vikings are what at number 11, so they own 11 and 23 plus their own pick. They'd have 3 first rounders themselves. They could definitely get a quarterback.
Yeah, easily.
And this is exactly why I'd be okay with Dak going to the Vikings. Because
Look at Dak is just a younger version of Kirk Cousins who has a different skin tone. That's all he is.
Yeah, bro.
He's not,
3 straight 12-5 seasons. That's not fucking shady, bro. That's not.
And the other thing about Dak is Kirk Cousins without being the free agency GOAT. Kurt is the free agency GOAT. You'll never hear anyone say otherwise. I mean, JJ Watt has ordained him the free agency GOAT. I think we all have to go with JJ on that one. But where are some other trade centers? I mean, look, they got, because the thing is, too, salary cap wise right now, they can't afford 2 first rounders, I don't think, or they're pretty close to that. So, you know, okay, Lucas says, well, wait, since he's cheap, what about Joey B for the 2 first rounders? Oh, I don't know.
Like, do you take a risk on what Ken was saying the other day about his elbow and everything? Is it 100%? Is it going to be? I mean, that's serious. I mean, I don't know if I give up 2 first rounders for a guy that's got a question mark. I mean, Trevor Lawrence sounds like a better option because he's up. Trevor Lawrence is up next year too.
I've seen even more reports from different doctors now stating damn near the same fucking thing, that this could very well be a career ender for him.
Hey, real quick,
Cincinnati's
Mike,
not worried about that. Oh, my.
Mike, I got something for you. There you go. I got to use it finally. Yeah, you know what though? I mean, he's coming off a rookie deal, so yeah, Trevor Lawrence, if the Jags would want to move off from him.
I was gonna say Nick brings up a good point.
Hall's already gone. I mean, all these guys are on teams already. Baker just signed a big contract that they're not going to get rid of him in Tampa.
Yeah, you know what he's saying is that's where they should have went and instead of going for freaking Sam Darnold.
Yeah, they should have took Baker. He was out there, bro. They had a shot at him.
Yeah, Dak should go with the Raiders.
Oh, hell no. Don't you put that evil on me.
So it's so sad. I mean, honestly, bro, if you had a quarterback that was getting you 12 wins a year, bro, I mean, to knock him, I mean, come on, bro.
Dude, it does make it hard to get rid of him when he's getting 12 wins a year, right?
Those 12 wins don't mean shit when you get to the playoffs and you're out in the first round.
Yeah, but is it all because of Dak, or is it because of the defense? Is it because of other factors? I mean, once again, here we go blaming the quarterback. For
go back to that game against Green Bay. Go back to that game against Green Bay. Was that anybody's fault but Dak's?
Yeah, the defense didn't even touch Love. Defense not one. I mean, they got the fiercest pass rush in the NFL, and they don't even sniff Love the whole game, bro.
And let's not forget where fucking Jordan Love was trolling Dak over that they were having a defensive back play linebacker.
Okay, dude, what was Dak's stat line on that game?
Not good. Because
dude, he had a lot of garbage time. He had like almost 400 yards, bro. I mean,
yeah, in garbage time. But I'm talking about in the first half of the game when it actually mattered. What was what was Dak's stat line?
Oh, it was trash, bro. I mean, we held them down. Our defense held them down, and our offense.
Dak was not the reason why the Cowboys lost that game to the Packers.
I beg to differ.
and
He
dominated.
absolutely was the reason they lost.
Aaron Jones ran
that
all
pick
over him.
six
He
that
left
threw
crack
before
marks
the
on
half,
their face.
that pick six that he threw before the half was the dagger, dude. They were down 27-7 at
You're right.
halftime.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
You're
right,
right.
hold on, let's stop. Hold on a second. Let's think about that for a second. Let's think about what Joe said. They were down 27-7. So what's the defense thinking? Well, you're down 27-7. It's going to the end of the half. We know you have no choice but to throw the ball. And that's how we're going to play. It's like the old argument with Jay Cutler. Oh, but he used to throw interceptions in the fourth quarter. Oh, you mean when he was down 2 touchdowns and had no choice but to slip
When you're
the ball?
coming back, you're
They know you're going to do it, and
Yeah.
and they defend for it. So the fact,
Except
that's not an
Ken,
indictment
he
on
didn't throw
Dak.
the interceptions in the second half. He threw them in the first half.
In the first half, he had no
He
choice.
threw the interceptions in the first
Yeah,
half, Ken.
down 27-7. Of course, he's throwing the ball all the time at that point. You have no choice but to throw the ball. It's situational
we kept
football.
putting up points.
No,
I mean,
Ken.
we put up enough
No,
points.
no. It was him throwing the pick. It was him throwing the picks that got them down 27-7.
But Dak is not
Like you have to
leaving
go back and watch the game, man.
Dak
like,
is not leaving Dallas. That's the
No,
let's X
I'm not saying
Dak
he
out
is.
of Minnesota. Yeah.
It was a great
So,
game. That's all I know. It was a great game.
So who else could Minnesota trade for at this point to be?
Like I said, Lawrence, man, from the Jaguars, his contract's up next year too. That's another guy. Jacksonville
Yeah,
could use 2 picks.
they've been adding pieces though. I don't think they want to get rid of Joey. I call him Joey Lawrence. I don't think they want to get rid of Joey. Good old Joey Lawrence there. No, I don't think they want to get
Trevor.
rid of Lawrence though. Yeah. No, but Joey Lawrence, remember the old TV show back? in
Yeah,
the
I
90s?
remember.
All right.
Yes. I'm old. I remember.
So, I mean, I don't know if Lawrence would be the guy because they're trending up, and they're trending up too. You got to find a good veteran quarterback on a team that's trending down, where they're willing to make that trade, and that's the problem. Most of those teams have already jettisoned their quarterback or made moves. So, I mean, I would think this would be funny and not unprecedented for the Vikings and Lions to have a trade. Hell, so many people in Michigan want freaking Hendon Hooker to start so bad. Trade Goff to the Vikings
Oh my God.
just to start
Do the Vikings walk off? Do they walk off? Are you insulting the VWOs who's watching?
Yeah. Oh, and Nicholas, we're not talking just about the Packers because that's not what this show is.
Yeah, it's all the above.
It's all the above, dude. So it's been like that for a few weeks now. I know you're probably on some beach vacationing in the Caribbean and are now back going, what the hell is this stuff? Well, that's what it is. That's gonna be Justin Fields when he gets off vacation and turns on his social media like, what the hell? I got some wide receivers, I got some linemen, that's how it works when you're on vacation. We know. Yeah, that would be.
I was gonna say I don't care if he's not on his socials and could be in a complete media blackout. They sent a carrier pigeon to that sumbitch to tell him that there are wide receivers in town.
Yeah, hey, we got Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift by carrier pigeon, right? No, but I mean, look, there are some people with the Lions who want. They were here even during the playoffs last year. They wanted Hendon Hooker in, which is just beyond stupid to me.
No.
But then again, we're talking about a team that took 32 years to win a playoff game, a team that's never won an NFC championship. I mean, so it's the toilet Lions. Would you be surprised if they would make a trade like that to Minnesota? I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. To address Nicholas's comment here about AJ Dillon, believe me, I'm not a big fan of the move either. But when you look at the contract, it makes a lot of sense that, hey, if for some reason a running back doesn't fall to us in the draft, we still have Dillon, who is a good goal line back. And with how his contract is, if he sucks again, we can just cut him, and it's not going to cost too much.
No, Ken, you know what that really was? That's PR. That's a PR repair job right there. Think about it. You just did Aaron dirty, and so what do? PR repair job. Bring back Dillon for a decent little chunk of change. Make the fan base happy. Now you lost Aaron Skull, and there you go. I'm going to do that just because he did it. It's just funny. The way he did it was even funny. But I mean, You just
You look like a
lost them.
spaz. You look like a damn spaz. He was trying to do something that was abnormal. He knew it was abnormal. He felt abnormal when he did it. What are you talking about?
I was gonna say you're
Hey,
welcome there, buddy, and you're in good company. Rob and I are both diehards ourselves.
Nick, I'm sorry you have that affliction.
Packers suck.
But I mean, it's okay. I mean, we're here for you. As a Bears fan, I am still here for you, Nicholas.
Good Nick.
And we got Dorn checking in.
What would Jordan? Where's my Jeopardy music? Wait for John Dorn to say something good. Oh God. Yes, Nick, you did get Josh Jacobs. That was last. You had it. Look at. Hold on a second. Time out here. Nicholas Rhodes. Have you been on vacation for the last week and a half or so? Honestly, because that was like days ago. So like you're on way like the snooze bar got hit 50 times. What Caribbean island were you on? Let us know. You had to have been on vacation to just go. We got Josh. Yeah, you got him. And then you cut your man Aaron, who's now in Minnesota, yelling skull at the top of his lungs, looking like this bad.
You know, Ken, every time you say that
like
freaking Jones is in Minnesota, my stomach does a little flip, and I got to stop myself from puking.
I need to, in fact, I'm going to replace this.
A double doink is when Brett
Right?
Favre
I know you
is
hate that one. I'm going to replace that with Aaron Jones doing skull. I got to find that and replace
That's it. We're getting Rodgers. We're done. It's over. You're gonna be having Rodgers break that championship belt over you, saying we still own you.
We still own all of you. Remember that.
Instead of trading for a vet QB, the Vikings need to use the picks they just gained and move up. Yeah, like a team like the Cardinals or Pats or Commanders, etc. Yep. I mean, he's not wrong. Nick has a good take for once. Hold on a second, Nick, I got something for you. Hold on. Well done, sir. Well done.
He saved the good takes for our regular show. That's all.
Yeah, he's not. he's not wrong though. Like, they look at they got 2 first-round picks. I mean, even where they're sitting at, they can get a good quarterback. They don't necessarily even have to move up. But if you believe the hype now that some people are saying New England wants a wide receiver, maybe you put a package together to go up to 3, right? If you're Minnesota, to go up to 3 and get Drake May at 3 because Caleb's going to 2, assuming the Bears don't trade out because Marvin Harrison Jr. is going at 1, right? So, I mean, there is a scenario where the Vikings maybe try to move up to 3. They're not going to move up to 4 because they're not going to give Arizona their pick back, right? That they just got from them. So, I don't know. Maybe they can move up to 3. Maybe they move up to 5 or 6 even. I mean, Nick's.
Can we look at this from the other perspective, though? I don't understand what kind of sense this makes if you're the Texans. I just don't. Like, you're trading your first round pick for 2 seconds and like a 5th, right?
The only thing that I can
year.
possibly think of it is they're targeting a guy that they're almost 90% sure is going to be in the second round. And they say, hey, you know what? Let's just get it done and out of the way now instead of waiting until draft day. And who knows, nobody might want to move at that time. We got somebody that wants to move now. Let's just get her done.
And I was saying Arizona was the pick. It was the Texans. Also, if you're the Texans, you're like, look, if I got a guy like Ken saying, I'm targeting Joe. Joe, I'm targeting you, dude. I'm going to draft you. But you're not a first-round prospect. At 23, I'm reaching if I get you. But I can get you at whatever that second-round number is, and it's not going to be a reach, and I'm going to save, about $1 million or $2, then yeah, I'm going to move back and get extra capital. Because let's face it, dude, how many times, I mean, guys in the first round seem to have a lesser hit rate than guys who go in the second, third, fourth, and fifth. I mean, think about that for a minute. Think about these guys on our teams. How many of them were first rounders versus second, third, and fourth rounders?
But if you're the Texans, like, you're building something, dude. You're built like this offseason, you've really like added some high profile free agents to your team. Like, you're building something over there. And then to trade your first round pick, even if there is a guy you're targeting in the second round.
And you guys move that off quick. I can't even read the whole damn thing.
The Texans have a second round pick. See, to me, it like I just
Makes
don't.
sense.
You could always trade up in the second round if there's a guy that you really want, right? Like you could always trade up, but to me, trading away your first round pick, especially while you're building something, like you could have used that first round pick on a player that can help you now. Like
I mean, look, you've
I
got
don't know.
you've got two badass defensive ends down there. You've got a good young quarterback. You've picked up some wide receiver help, line help. You've been active in free agency. I get what you're saying, Joe, but at the same time, like now they can put more. They're at the point where maybe they feel this. Maybe they're at this point. We don't need a first round impact starter. We need some cheaper guys to fill holes in the terms of being support. Like I don't need a starter. I'm good.
Well,
I
but
need guys. I need my rotational guys. I need my third down wide receiver. I need guys that don't need to necessarily
okay,
spend a first round pickup.
but Joe's point is, I mean, if you get a first round pick, that guy's usually projected a starter. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Good morning, Jason. I mean, that's what you usually predict. That first round guy is probably going to be a day one starter.
Yeah,
So,
but
I mean, I don't
well,
see the
high
difference if
second.
you're going to draft somebody, a
And
free agent, or I mean,
yeah,
he's going to be a first. I mean, you can pick what you need, and he's going to be a day one starter.
and
I
the
think so.
Texans didn't get wide receiver like that. They didn't cut. We were speculating on the JJ trade, but that didn't go through. So, in my opinion, they still need a wide receiver. Like they need a true number one. Like Tank Dell did pretty good last year, and Nico Collins, but Tank Dell, he was always like coming out of college, he was projected to be like a really good number two guy. But you're having him be
Well,
the number one guy. I think
there's
that they should have
still
went after number one.
there's still a number one out there they could go sign in free agency that got cut by LA.
Who?
Williams.
Williams.
Mike Williams.
He's not a number one. He was a number two in LA.
Yeah, he was a
Well,
number
yeah,
two. You're right, man.
but you're right. In LA, he was with Keenan Allen being there, the god of all record books for the Chargers. But in Houston, isn't Williams their number one at that point?
Yeah. I'd have to say he would be on Houston.
Yeah, Nick, but a lot of teams view their first round. You're talking about Packers. Yeah, I understand. We don't. Sometimes we don't. I
Well,
mean, but
look at the Bears. Look at the Bears. Look at our secondary. None of those guys were in the first round.
Yeah, I
All
was going to
those
say
guys
he was second round day one starters still.
Second
That,
round.
you're still looking at that.
Yeah, second
Yeah.
round, third round guys, and they're all starters. Tyreek Stevenson was a late round guy. I think he was actually in the fourth round. So I mean, you don't trading back, gaining more capital, gaining more second rounders is actually probably more beneficial to them picking 23rd. So, I mean, really, how many, how far back did you really go? Because that first pick that they got for the Vikings is a lower second round pick. So you went back what, about 20 spots? How big of a difference is that going to be really as far as getting for the impact player you're looking for? So I mean, I agree with Joe on some level, but on another level, like I get it. And then they're trying to manage the cap too, not just for now, but for the future. But let's say they go out sign Mike Williams. Now they've got their number one. They're looking for rotational line guys. They're looking for defensive backfield depth. This something this draft is deep in. They don't need a first round corner. They can get two in the second and be good. And now they can get more stuff in the later rounds because they picked up extra picks. That was an interesting trade. Now the other big trade, we'll talk. We mentioned was the Bears trading their fourth rounders. So now they're down to 4 picks in the draft, 2 firsts, a third, and a fourth. But they trade a fourth rounder for Keenan Allen. Now we are taking on his entire contract with the entire cap hit. So the Bears right now, after we pay for the money set aside for our current set of draft picks, have roughly $21 million left to spend in free agency this year. But Keenan Allen coming to Chicago, Joe, I mean, what do you think? I mean, they're putting some weapons together in Chicago now.
Yeah, but to me, that totally destroys the whole narrative of them getting Marvin Harrison Jr. Because, like, how are you going to go get Marvin Harrison now? You already have DJ Moore, and now you have Keenan Allen. You have your 2 number ones. You're not going to have Marvin Harrison be your number 3 or Neighbors or, like, so to me, it just says that the Bears aren't taking a receiver, like, in the
I
draft.
will give the caveat there for Bears fans that Keenan Allen, to me, yeah, if you could, I would use him in the slot primarily. That way, you'd still have a spot out there for another big time receiver.
And so, Joe, let me take your narrative there and debunk it. So he's
Hold on, how
31.
much are you paying Keenan Allen?
Well,
How
that's
much
what I'm
are you
saying.
paying
This year you're paying him like 30 million, but you're almost paying him his age. He's 31 years old, has 1 year left on the contract.
And you're
So
paying
Holy
thirty
fuck.
million
You're paying him 30
but
million?
I
to
think
run
that's
out of
what
the slot.
that's what it's. Well, look it. But Joe, listen. Let me finish the thought.
You're right, Joe. I think you're right, Joe.
It's 30 million because of the trade. You get him for 1 year. But listen, and this is where Ken has a point. It doesn't preclude you from drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. or Neighbors or Roma Jr. Why? Because those guys are on a 5-year rookie contract. You may not sign Keenan Allen past this year, but
Mhm.
putting Keenan Allen at 31 years old, projection with DJ Moore, he's going to project maybe as a 2 in Chicago initially, right? So you could run your rookie out of the slot, or you can run Keenan Allen out of the slot. Either way, dude, could you imagine having to face a trio of DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Marvin Harrison Jr. all lined up on the field together with the 2 tight ends the Bears got, and you've got DeAndre Swift in the backfield with Fields holding the ball. You're like, well, shit. I can't just double team DJ anymore. I can't just team Keenan, and I can't just double team this young receiver who's like Megatron. And oh, wait, they've got running backs and a quarterback that if he feels like taking off, I might as well just send a postcard to the end zone because that's where he's going to be. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that the Bears would still draft a receiver just because of the lineup they can put out there. Plus, they own that rookie receiver for 5 years, whereas Keenan, whose Spotrac has him worth about 12, might be a 1 year and done. But you look at the team this year; they're poised to do some damage.
Yeah, but then there's the fact that like the Chargers got rid of Keenan because Keenan hasn't stayed healthy a whole season in I don't know how many seasons now.
He played the whole year
So
last year almost. No, he didn't. He played 12 games last year and still put up 1,200 yards.
yeah, but he played 12 games last year, and then the year before
So,
that he probably like 12 games or 10 games. Like
so what you're
he's there
saying
like
is he shouldn't be elevated to the 1 or the 2. That maybe in the 3 spot you might get more game time and more production out of him because he might be less prone to injury there.
maybe I don't know, but you're paying your number 3 $30 million. Like that that's
And
number
that
one
I
money,
get.
dude. That's
But
number one. That's number one money, dude. Like
but he's
Keenan.
not the number 1.
Well, to me, like I think Keenan Allen thinks he is. I think the fact that you're paying him $30 million, he's coming in there thinking he's number one. Like
His base salary is less than 30 mil, I think, but I thought the cap hit was 30 mil, but what he's actually getting paid is less that. But I mean, look, I get it. We're eating a big contract to make this trade for a 4th rounder. But if that's going to be your slot receiver at the beginning of the year when they're actually on the field of play and then camps happen and that's the way it shakes out, dude, you have to admit. And look at the Bears. It's not like the Bears are strapped for cash. So even if it's 1 year and done, and let's say we make a play, I mean, look with this offense and with the defense being what it is. If you pick that other edge rusher, look if the Bears think they're going to make the playoffs, which they do, then you have to assume they think they're going to make the Super Bowl because why even bother going to the playoffs if you don't think you can get to the Super Bowl? So okay, I'll spend the 30 million this year because I've got it, and why not? Right? I mean, I can spend it or I can just sit. I'll spend it. Ownership's going to let me spend it. They're going to sell a ton of jerseys. The ownership's going to make their 30 mil back or whatever the cap hit is, 25 mil or whatever on this guy. And now we can go out and win some more games. And oh, by the way, I give Justin yet another weapon to throw to, which now makes it even harder to put 8 in the box against them. All these moves make Justin Fields' life a lot easier, right? But I mean, maybe we can restructure him and get him down to 12 million a year and sign him to a 2 or 3 year deal, right? To be the 3. I mean, there's a lot of things Poles can do here, but on balance, if you say the Bears still draft a wide receiver, look at that lineup now. That's freaking scary. But I definitely don't think it precludes them from drafting a high-end wide receiver in the early the first, because you're either going to keep Allen for a year and he walks, right? Or you're going to keep him for what? Maybe 2 years tops? 3 years he might have in him when DJ Moore's contract's up, so you're not going to be able to sign both. So you're still going to draft a young rookie because you're going to have him for 5 years.
I get the thinking behind it, but I think that having Keenan Allen eats into Marvin Harrison's touches. Like I think it like
So
if you have a rookie that you want to develop, like you need to throw him the ball, right? And like having three guys that are legit
that's
number
part of
one,
it.
having three guys that are legit number ones is like that's a lot of targets to have to spread around.
My only thing to that is look at Devontae Adams' development tree. He was on a team where he wasn't the bona fide number one. It took him 3 years just to get acclimated, and now he's one of the best damn receivers in the NFL. So it's not like you got to force feed these guys.
Yeah, I mean I don't hate the move. Like I'm not
Mhm.
I'm not trying to
Oh,
sound like I hate the move.
I
was just
totally get
saying
what
that
you're saying. You're
maybe
trying to
just
look at it from
like it's just an awful lot of money to pay a guy if he's not going to be your number one. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
and even if he's your number, I mean, look, and the thing about development, I mean, okay, so maybe he doesn't get as many touches now because Keenan Allen and DJ Moore are getting a lot of touches, but he's still going to learn from them. He's still going to learn how to be a professional. I mean, look what the Packers did with Jordan Love. He sat for 3 years learning the game, not be on the field getting touches, and look what happened in his first year as a starter. Had a really good year. I don't think it hurts Marvin Harrison. I think it helps Marvin Harrison to a degree as well. I mean, that argument can swing both ways, Joe. But I mean, if you're looking at a wide receiving core though that is now DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Marvin Harrison Jr., dude, if you're a defensive coordinator, if that's the three wide receivers plus the two tight ends they got, plus the running backs they got, plus Justin Fields, dude, that you got to admit that's like not an offense you really look forward to scheming for.
No,
You're like, how am I going to cover
loaded,
this?
dude. That's a loaded offense, dude. And if Justin Fields can't make that work, then he never could make it work. Like, that's it. I can't see a way that they don't win at least 10, 11 games with that kind of a lineup, dude.
I mean, I could have Ken at quarterback, and we should win at least 7 with
Hey,
and that's
I
just
wouldn't go that far.
Those three receivers, you could put like Jim Sorgi out there, and you could still win like 11 games, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a difference between a shitty NFL quarterback and Quasimodo. I shouldn't be anywhere near a fucking football field.
I mean, look at all Ken has to do is stand 5 yards behind the center, snap the ball, and chuck it in the air, and one of them will come down with it, right? But I mean, so the Keenan Allen trade for a 4th round pick, yeah, he's a lot of money, but it's money you
for
can
a 4th
you can
round
spend.
pick. It's not a bad trade.
No.
I get the move, like you're trying to load up at receiver, but it just like the other thing is, like I said, his injury history concerns me. For $30 million, am I going to get half a season out of the guy? Like that has to be a legit concern, dude, because his track record has shown you that he's not going to stay healthy a whole season.
But if he's in the 3 spot, he does.
But I do agree with what you said about the mentorship aspect, though. He's a great guy to have, like, to come teach your young receivers, like that. I do agree with that aspect of it. And from all accounts that I've read about Keenan Allen, he's a really good locker room guy.
Joe, hold on 1 second, because I need to make a correction because I was wrong. Keenan Allen's base salary is $18.1 million. His cap hit's $23.1. The Bears have $35 million before the draft, so right now about $21 million after the draft. It's about $15 million they need to set aside for the draft picks, I believe. So actually, he's getting paid $18 million. The cap hits 22, the cap hits 23. So I mean, at that level, though, dude, and the Bears had the money to spend, so it's not like it hurt them to spend it. So I'm sorry, Judge, I just wanted to correct that because it's not 30 million, it's actually 21.
Yeah, that actually does kind of change it.
Yeah,
like his cap hit is 23, but you're paying him 18, and he's worth 18, like in any market, like. So
no. Yes and no. According to Spotrac, his market value is about 12.1. So his contract's about $3 million more than DJ Moore right now. He's the second highest paid Bear behind Montez Sweat. But yeah, you're in the ballpark, Joe. You're in the ball.
So does he use two hands when he runs with this walker when he catches? Does he just let it go?
No,
Guy's old as shit, bro.
He's got
Old
one of
as
those
shit.
walkers that you can turn around and sit in. So he's running out there with the walker right before he catches. He sits in it and just grabs it.
Yeah. That one dude said if Justin Fields doesn't throw for 4,500 yards, let's slow down and let's let him break 4,000 first. Like,
Yeah, right.
Let's let him
No, he
break
hasn't even hit
3,000.
3,500 first. You know?
I mean, and look at Steven's
Baby
not wrong
step,
with
baby
this. Like,
step.
dude, Bolts fans are beside themselves this morning. Like, I saw a couple clips from some of their podcasters, and they are just literally beside themselves in dismay over this trade. Because, dude, he is their face of their franchise, right?
Yep.
He's been the guy for the Chargers, and they gave him to the Bears for a 4th round pick to save cap space. And they're like, dude, that'd be like I'm trying to think someone in Packers history that it would have been like. But you guys
It would
really
have
don't
been
have
like
any.
what? Aaron Jones getting cut and going to the Vikings?
No, because
That's it.
no, that's I mean, what the Packers are used to cutting the face of the franchise that the fans love and giving away for nothing because they do. They did it to Clay, they did it to Aaron, they do it to everyone in Green Bay. So Green Bay's so look at if you're a Chargers fan, you're getting Green Bay has no pity for you.
Yep.
They're used to it. Aaron Jones, skull. They're used to it. Now, if you're a Raiders fan, I guess it'd be kind of like, I don't know, they decide to move from Oakland to LA. Oh, wait a minute, they already did that. I mean, teams do this all the
All right,
time.
Ken.
I mean,
To be
It would
honest,
be
you're
like-
right.
it
We
would be
cut him
like
when we,
trading Max
but
Crosby. It would be like trading Max Crosby for a 4th round pick. Like,
yeah.
you would have Raider fans like ready to burn the stadium down.
I was going to say you couldn't do that with Raiders fans. They would burn the fucking stadium down. Not be ready
you know
to.
what? Something interesting that comes out of this is that, like, the Chargers, I don't realistically see them trading Herbert. But now at 5, the only receiver they got left on the roster, or well, not on the roster, but the only receiver that's seen any real playing time is Quentin Johnston, dude. Right? And he hasn't been.
I think this is I think this is a big
I think
clearance
this means
sign that they're targeting
LA
one of the
is
3
taking a
guys.
receiver at 5. Like,
Yep.
LA is definitely in on the Malik Neighbors or Romo Dunze sweepstakes. You know.
Yep.
Shane Waldron, Luca, is the new OC for the Bears. Okay, now they're talking. Yeah, we know, Stephen, Steve, I love my Bear fans. They're like some of my Packer fans and the other fans. He was on a vacation. He was late this morning. Stephen, we covered that when we first started the show, but thank you for the update. Yeah, we know about the trade for Houston. That's how we started talking about Herbert on the move from the Bolts possibly to Minnesota because Vikings fans were talking about putting a package together and getting them.
That is.
Wait. Throw up Dorn's comment. I just love John sometimes. I asked myself, what would John Dorn do? That's what he would do, ladies and gentlemen. That's what he would do.
But hey, back to your point, Ken, about Packer fans moving on from players. We do that a lot, bro, because they're just done. That's all, bro. How many guys have succeeded after they left Green Bay? What did they do?
Devontae's the
I don't
only
know.
one I can think of that.
Devontae, yeah. That's it, bro.
Hold on. Let me rephrase that. Devontae and Favre.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right. We'll give Favre that. You're right. He came back to haunt us.
Yeah.
So
Believe me, I still have PTSDs over that.
So we had the trade. We had these trades last night and this morning. That being said, there are still some good free agents out there. There's some edge rushers, some interior linemen out there on defense and offense. There's a couple wide receivers out there. And I think what we saw today, Micah Hyde. Yep.
And I will say Casey Hayward was good too. Now that you brought up Hyde, it made me remember him.
So the question is, though, obviously we're not done. I think we're going to see some more this weekend. I think we're going to see some more picks that are going to affect the draft and some free agent signings. I mean, it definitely slowed down the last 2 days on the signings, right? But there's still some good stuff out there. But I'm not surprised we're starting to see trades concerning draft position in this year's draft, as some of these markets are starting to okay, hold on a sec. I gotta post this up. Steven, as you don't know this yet because you're not in the back chat, but yes, the Bears won free agency this year because we made Simone Biles happy because she no longer needs to catch a connecting flight to see her man play football on Sundays. Her tweet, she said it, not me. So yes, we get Simone Biles. She's happy now. The Bears
Yeah,
have
but
won
she
the
didn't declare that
offseason.
you guys won free agency. That's just you and your ego.
Yes. Well,
Little Biles going, hey, guess what? That's just you, Ken.
hey, you know what
Let's
though?
keep it 100 here, man.
Hey, but Rob, look at when was the last time a man made a woman that happy where she tweeted about it on Instagram on X?
Bro, it's like you said, it's PR. That's all. But the rest of that's you.
Oh, hey, I love this way. Exactly as Wisconsin airports, you suck. Yeah, you've never flown into what is it up north of Toma there? Going to Toma is interesting because you can either go to Milwaukee, you can go to Madison, or you can go to what's the college town just north? It's like an hour out. But flying to Toma to go to Fort McCoy, dude, I've flown into all three of those airports, and all three of them suck. General Mitchell's a terrible airport in Milwaukee. But yeah, that's funny though. Wisconsin airports, you suck. Not that O'Hare is not a lot of fun if you're trying to go from terminal to terminal sometimes. But we're not. Appleton has an airport, really? I haven't been to Appleton's airport.
Yeah, they do, bro. They got a bunch of small. They're not huge airports,
Regionals,
but
regionals.
yeah, regionals. Yeah.
So I mean, look, there's still a lot of stuff that happened in free agency. We're not done with the frenzy. There's gonna be some trades. This idea of Minnesota trying to gather either capital to draft stuff or to put a package together, get a quarterback, is kind of intriguing. And the fact that the Viking fans went straight to Herbert is really intriguing. So I'm just wondering if there's any other targets like we started to talk about before we went down some rabbit holes that we could think of that they could target. I mean, because are they going to do anything with Sam Darnold?
No.
So who else could,
I totally do not believe in Sam Darnold.
He actually looked pretty good when he played for the Niners. I mean, obviously there's reasons for that, but he looked like he had shown some improvement when he played for the Niners.
I was gonna say, but look at like with Mitch Trubisky, he looked great with Buffalo. Went to the Steelers, fell back on his face, and then had to go back to Buffalo. We could be looking at the same thing with Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
I mean, or is he going to have his Geno Smith moment? I mean, you bring up Trubisky. I thought that was like when that move happened, people laughed. I'm like, why? Trubisky was good for Buffalo. Buffalo was good for Trubisky. That actually worked. Like I have no doubt if Allen goes down for 3 games, Buffalo has no worries in the world about throwing Mitch in there because Mitch works for them. He showed it. I mean, Mitch. They probably think Mitch. Hey, we throw Mitch in for 2-3 games, we're going at least 2-1. That's probably what they're thinking. At least 2-1, if not 3-0, because Mitch works for Buffalo. So because Sam Darnold worked for, I mean, look at Minnesota proved that a guy who has done nothing in his career can rise to stardom in Minnesota. Oh,
Joe. Damn, Joe. Bang, bang, Niner gang, huh, Joe?
You will never, ever hear those words come out of my mouth, ever.
Wow. Hey, Nick, wait.
Checking, Joe. Just checking.
Hey, Nick, you better duck because this is what you're going to hear when Joe drives past your house later.
True Raider style.
Like that's one of those things. Nick makes a post like that, the whole room goes.
Get the kids down.
So yeah, I
really did.
Okay, Nicholas, we all hate him too.
I really did see some improvement in Sam Darnold. Like whether that was because he was playing with the starting 49ers offense, like obviously that has something to do with it. But he looked better. Like he was taking care of the football. Which Sam Darnold. The only reason he's a bad quarterback is because he has fumble issues, and that's been since college. Like I watched him play in college, and he was a baller in college, but he gave up the ball a lot. So the only real knock on him is the turnovers. If he could, learn to take care of the football, he might be actually like a serviceable starter in the NFL.
Yeah, because a lot of what Jets fans were complaining about, and I saw it too, were his boneheaded picks where he'd throw it almost directly to the defender. Like,
He did that
just
in
what you're
college, too.
wondering, do you even know what the routes are? Because you're throwing this shit so bad.
Well, he's got two wide receivers now. It doesn't matter what the route is. He's got two stud wide receivers in Minnesota. I mean, like I said, he's look at they took Dobbs last year. That kid wasn't jack anywhere else, and he came in. And all of a sudden, he was a superstar for 3 weeks. So I mean, Aaron Donald's probably better than Dobbs was. So I mean,
Unscouted quarterbacks are they're going to have a few good games in there. As soon as everybody figured them out, shit, it was over for that guy.
Yeah, Eric,
not Eric. I don't think so.
Well, yeah, there's reports that the Vikings have completely tanked that trade. I wouldn't hold out that it's not going to happen, but I think the likelihood is they've already screwed the pooch.
Why would look at? I agree. I understand why Minnesota tanked it. Because look at, you've got two guys who are both coming on 5th-year options. Two guys who by salary are separated by about $2 or $3 million. Two guys who are crying about their salary and how they want to trade. So you've got two headaches. You're just going to swap your headache for their headache. I mean, sure, they're going to give you some draft picks to take their headache, but you still got a headache to deal with. So I'd rather stay with the headache that's better, being Justin Jefferson, than the headache that's not as good, being T. Higgins.
Makes sense. But
I still think there's a real possibility that Justin gets traded. I don't know if it's necessarily to the Bengals, but this move by the Vikings where they're picking up these extra first-round picks, like I think that, if they're in that mode already, why not go ahead and get, what you can for Justin? Like if you're not trading for a player, if you're trading just for picks, you can get 2 firsts for Justin Jefferson. So, like, you could do a lot with 4 first-round picks, man. Like, you could get your quarterback and get another receiver, So I just don't – I don't know. I'm not going to say he's going to the Bengals, but I think that there's still a good possibility that they'll end up trading him if a team comes with the right offer.
Well, the thing is, too, because if you're going to trade for Justin, you want him to be happy. Okay. So what teams could trade for Justin and make him happy? Because look at it. If he's going to Carolina, is he really going to be happy?
No.
But I mean, okay, so who are the teams that can make him happy? Atlanta?
The Chargers?
The Chargers?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they don't got the money for him.
They don't got the money for him. Unless he's part of a Justin Herbert trade, in which case now he's no longer happy to go.
Actually, they were the Chargers when they got rid of Keenan Allen, they were already under the cap, and then like getting rid of Keenan Allen just gave them an extra $20 million in cap space. So they're not as far off as you might think. Like
23 million exactly is 23 million. That's a lot.
So yeah, what did the Dolphins give up for Tyreek Hill? What they give
a
up for
first,
Cheetah?
a second, a third, a fifth, like almost a whole draft.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a price. So who's going to be who's in a position to be willing to do that? Not only having the cap space to re-sign him, the quarterback that's going to make him happy, where he will actually resign, and the draft picks they can give up because they're pretty solid as a team.
Well,
I thought the Texans. I really thought the Texans.
But I'm not going to give up on. I'm not going to say that the Chargers are out because look at the Chargers have the 5th pick. You think if the Chargers gave the number 5 overall pick to the Vikings, who are in need of a quarterback right now, that's not going to at least bring the Vikings to the table? Like that 5th pick alone is valuable.
I think it brings them to the table for sure.
It brings them to the table for sure. And then you have the other picks that you just picked up, where it's like, okay, we pick up that 5th pick, now we can get our quarterback. And we still have the 12th pick and the 19th pick or the 23rd pick. We can get another receiver and still have another first-round pick. Like, this year,
Joe,
it makes a lot of sense, dude.
This is sounding like why they should, get rid of JJ to reset the clock, like the Bears should get rid of Fields to reset the clock for a rookie quarterback. We're basically making the same argument there to a certain degree, right? I mean, that's basically. But look at that's part of that argument with the whole Fields thing is resetting the clock. I mean, and I get the allure of resetting the clock, but I think the two teams are in different areas. But I mean, that's basically what you're asking the Vikings to do. Those right? Okay, we'll give you the 5, but now we're going to ask you to reset the clock on your wide receiver. I don't know. I mean, I think the 5 gets into the table, but the 5, it has to be the 5 and a lot more than what I think they have to offer.
I don't think it's a lot more. Like the 5 alone is going to be worth, that's your quarterback for the Vikings. Like, because you can take that 5 and the 12, package that up, and you can get your quarterback, right? Or you can get a quarterback at 5, but like let's say Drake May drops, right? Like,
All right, hold on, not to interrupt you, Joe, but we will be back Monday morning. We don't do a show on the weekends, but every weekday we are here 10 Central.
Yep, Monday through Friday. On Monday, the caveat with Mondays, we're also on Roku on Mondays.
so
ahead, Joe.
I'm just looking at it purely from, if you look at it from a need standpoint, the Chargers are either going to go receiver at 5, right? And they can get a guy who's going to be, good, or they could go get a superstar. And, what does it cost them? The 5 pick? I don't think it costs much more than the 5. I think if they give them the 5 and then package a couple of extra picks together, like they can make that happen.
So let's think about it. There's some credence to what Joe said about the 5 pick in a lot of ways. I want to throw another curveball here. About 4 weeks ago, if you listen to the pundits, they were like, in the first 6 picks, there's going to be 4 quarterbacks gone. If right now, if you look at the first 6 picks, if you believe the hype that New England might be looking at a wide receiver, not a quarterback, if you believe that the Chargers don't trade out and they're going to want a wide receiver at 5, Arizona wants a wide receiver at 5, the Bears are going to take a wide receiver. Guys, that's 4 wide receivers taken in the top 5. Which I don't know who that 4th wide receiver is going to be, but in the top 4, you might see 3 receivers go in the top 4, with the only quarterback coming off the board being Washington taking Caleb Williams. That's now more a possibility when you look at what's happened between free agency and other. That is now more of a possibility. Now, look, I don't know if I buy the whole thing where New England's not looking for a quarterback and they want a wide receiver. But you know what, though? That's been, even the mock drafts going back 2 months ago, they were drafting a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's been out there for a minute. It's just no one's been paying attention to it. But so if you buy, you have to buy into that. But even if, let's say, they go quarterback, then the first 5 picks, you're going to see 3 wide receivers and 2 quarterbacks off the board, which is completely different than what we were led to believe was going to happen by the pundits. Because look, the pundits still think that Caleb Williams is going to Chicago, but now some are starting to figure out that the plan was always to keep Justin Fields. But I mean, you're going to have 3 wide receivers off the board in the first 5 picks, 2 quarterbacks, and those quarterbacks might be Caleb and Drake at 2 and 3.
Which means that Jaden Daniels is still on the board at 5. I think if the Chargers are going to make that move, it's going to be on draft day. If they're on the clock at 5 and one of the top 3 quarterbacks is on the board, do you think that Minnesota's not going to seriously entertain that? If they say, hey, look,
You
we'll
can
give
get
you the
Jaden
5
at
pick.
5, yeah.
You can get Jaden at 5, and I mean, come on, dude. Like,
Well,
I really don't think that. I think that 5 pick is valuable enough that, like, I don't even think you have to necessarily give up another first for JJ.
Well, on Joe's disappointing take, we're out of time. Remember, and we always end on a disappointing take here. We aim to please. Be back here with us at Ken in the morning on Monday. Don't forget, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central, Frozen Tundra Network on Roku and these channels. And at 7, the Hal's Hard Report. But until Monday for Ken in the morning, peace.
He has time. He's got left side. Dobbs is there. Leaping grab. Touchdown. Touchdown.